Hi, I'm Kenneth Tu, and I'll be speaking with Emily Dorsey today. I met her at the Cerebral Valley Artificial Intelligence Summit a couple weeks ago, and I was very impressed about what she had to say on AI as well as what she was building with her company. Emily, can you give us an introduction about yourself and what you're doing and what your company is?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the introduction. Great to see you again. I had a blast at that conference. So, as mentioned, I'm the CTO of Peak. And what we do is we make it easy for developers to build features that are powered by AI. AI tools and models have never been better, but it remains pretty hard for non AI experts to use because there's so many steps involved in getting anything that is usable in an actual production environment. So a lot of people don't get to reap the benefits of all of this really cool technology. So what we're doing at Peak is we're providing really simple APIs that anyone can just plug and play and use in whatever they're building themselves.
Awesome. And my kind of follow-up for you is what's the most popular use cases or what industries are most interested in your product in the early days of your company so far?
Yeah, great question. So we're focusing a lot on verticals that have a lot of data but don't have a ton of AI expertise. So right now, legal, financial, and healthcare are a lot of who we're looking to speak to because they have a ton of data and they have a lot to benefit from these new technologies, but they don't necessarily have the skill set to move forward. As for what models have been really popular in the past, a lot of people are working with audio transcription. Obviously, document searching is really important. So if you had an employee handbook and you wanted to know what the dress code on Friday was, what if you could just type that question into a chatbot and it would just answer based off of your documents, things like that.
Awesome. And with regards to relative use cases that other people might be considering, what's the relative pro of an organization working with you as opposed to, trying to use OpenAI's services?
So, I mean, OpenAI is fantastic. And OpenAI is really good if you have a problem that can be solved with OpenAI out of the box. The moment you need to teach OpenAI about some specific secret concept that only your company knows about, things get way harder because now you need to teach this model how to answer questions about your secret concept or your specialized concept or a concept that doesn't exist yet. All those sorts of things are very real possibilities and very real problems for something like an out of the box OpenAI model. So if it's not good enough for whatever problem you're trying to solve, that's where we come in and we'll work with you to make those models much more usable for your specific scenario. We're also focused on privacy. If you have really sensitive data, OpenAI is not a great option for you currently.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense in the event that you might not want your data to be used as training data that eventually a competitor is indirectly benefiting from.
Right, or like a HIPAA violation or something like that.
Oh yeah, on the healthcare side, yeah. Finally, to kind of get a sense of your experiences, you were recently part of the most recent YC cohort that was predominantly AI companies, from what I understand. What was your experience with the program, and what were your kind of learnings for it, either personally or for your company?
Yeah. So I had a fantastic time at Y Combinator. I cannot recommend it enough as a program and as a community of really smart and ambitious and driven people. There's a lot that you learn that's very obvious. It's not very interesting, how to email investors and how to fundraise and how to write an introduction email and that sort of thing. But I think the most important thing that I learned personally, and that I know a lot of other founders learned as well, is how to motivate yourself and make sure that you are performing as well as you can, and also how to take feedback. Taking feedback is so hard and it's so important, especially sometimes the feedback is kind of mean. And so being able to separate out the meanness from the usefulness is crucial. Also, sometimes it's mean and helpful, sometimes it's mean and not helpful. Sometimes it's nice and helpful, sometimes it's nice and unhelpful. How do you tell the difference and always extract out the bits that are actually helpful for you personally and for your company is a skill that I learned, or well, it's a skill that got a lot better during Y Combinator for sure. Also,
Got
community
it.
and support. It is so important to be surrounded by people who are pushing you to be better.
And what kind of improved your filtering process for feedback through the program? Was it just encountering it more often than you normally would when you kind of were like operating, with your co-founder in more of a silo, or what caused that?
It was just the quantity, I think. And it was the quantity from really qualified sources. So when you get feedback that doesn't make any sense from someone who's really important, from an ex-founder or a batchmate or someone who's clearly very accomplished, it really forces you to go, okay, how do I know that this doesn't make sense for me, even though this person is really qualified? What are they understanding about what I'm asking? How do I ask better questions to get more tailored advice out of them? And that sort of thing. That was the main one as well, asking good questions to get the answers that result in something helpful for you is a skill.
Awesome. So to kind of wrap up this portion that will be shared on LinkedIn, this is going to be it. I'm going to be asking Emily a few more questions that you can see on the YouTube video if you want afterwards. So this is a mini goodbye.
Bye, LinkedIn folks.
So now we'll be moving forward to some other notes about yourself. One thing I'm very interested in, especially when I meet, on the MBTI side, NTJ people in general, is, how they stay organized, because I kind of feel like they're more organized than I am naturally as kind of like an ENTP. And so I'm always looking to kind of learn myself. Do you journal or take notes or use a planner? Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a calendar. My Google Calendar is very fleshed out. I schedule laundry, I schedule lunch, I schedule calling my mom, work meetings, but that's normal. So I live and die by my Google Calendar.
And with regards to your Google Calendar, obviously it's a norm for people to send invites out for work-related line items. Do you send Google Calendar out for more personal things? And if so, what are those use cases?
I love calling personal events use cases here. It's hilarious. Yeah, I send out invites for dinners, picnics, dates, that sort of thing. Because I think it's nice both for me and for the other person to have a reminder of where we're going and when. And then you kind of stave off questions of like, oh, what time is Jennifer's birthday dinner? Oh, when are we supposed to meet? It's all on the calendar now. It's right there for your easy reference whenever you want to take a look. So I do send out invites for personal things as well.
Awesome. And with regards to, there's the Google Calendar side, which is kind of high level, what you're doing at different time frames. In terms of, actual writing into a notebook or something, what's that process like for you, and how's it helpful for you?
So it's really important for me when I'm thinking through something to be writing it down. So I'm a big fan of whiteboards and notebooks. You can even see here I have all sorts of flowcharts and that sort of thing. Don't look too close at it. That just helps me think through whatever is happening. And especially during meetings where I need to be paying a lot of attention, I am always taking notes, because taking notes allows me to focus better on what someone is saying. So I really believe in the power of writing things down, both for exploratory ideation processes and also for understanding what's happening as you're listening to someone else. You can see I'm even just instinctively holding a pen while I'm being interviewed. I don't need to take notes right now, but I'm holding a pen anyways.
As you're kind of taking notes into your notebook or just kind of getting your thoughts out and organized, do you have any standardized time frame, or does it vary for when you go back and look through your notes and kind of reprocess it, or is it kind of just more in the moment just to kind of get it out there? And then maybe occasionally you'll look back, or is there a time frame where you kind of stop looking back at like old notes?
The time frame is probably a week or so, because the notes that are in this notebook anyways really aren't meant to be referenced again. They're just meant to help me process something in the moment. Oftentimes, if I am taking notes, then there are notes I'm going to need to reference. I have a separate notebook to reference notes, and that has less drawings and less riffraff and less doodles in it, and that's a lot more. Page 7 has this set of information on it because it's meant for reference, whereas this is like wake up, things I don't want to forget in the next 3 hours kind of a notebook.
Got it. And in the secondary reference notebook, is that also an actual physical notebook, or is it like a service like Notion or Roam Research? Like, what is that?
Can't believe you're making me admit this. It's a Google Drive called Useful Things I Don't Want to Lose. So I have a useful drive of things I don't want to lose that are things that I know that I will need to re-reference at some point that were at one point just written down in the notebook, and I decided they needed a more permanent home.
Got it. So it's something that requires more typing out instead of rewriting. Okay.
Well, it's something that I want to be able to reference from anywhere. So if it's, a set of people who I met at a conference, per se, who had really interesting domain expertise, and I want to remember their names in case I have questions for them in the future, I wrote that down in the notebook at the time, but I'm not going to go dig through the notebook and find that amongst all the other notes, including John's favorite sushi restaurant in Soho. Instead, I want that to be in a document that I can access from anywhere at any time. So they have to get typed up for that.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm trying to be more organized myself, so trying to emulate best practices of other people and try to like figure out like what works for me. For context, yesterday I asked some friends just like on Instagram, how do they use notebooks consistently? So it varies. I mean, I had advice ranging from write before I sleep to writing in the morning while having coffee to kind of habit stack the process. So for now, I might be kind of overkill for the next week or so of journaling before I sleep, as well as when I wake up.
I mean, it's all about what works for you, right? Like some people love journaling and some people hate it. Just like contacts in my phone, I love contacts. I have notes in everybody's contacts.
Oh, that sounds useful to you because just as you're trying to contact them, you see the notes.
Yep. And a lot of people, it'll be like Microsoft Intern 2015. If I didn't write that in the notes, I would not remember who they are. But then the notes will say, Microsoft Intern 2015, got dinner, really nice, has a dog named, Cutie Pie, worked on this team, yada, yada. And then if you see them again, you can quickly consult the notes. And then everybody thinks about how thoughtful and nice you are for remembering all those things. So it's a great system.
That sounds like something I might be incorporating. I have a problem when I used to go to more blockchain events, and I still go to them occasionally. People will want me to add me on Telegram, and their profile picture will be like some cartoony
Oh my
profile
gosh, yeah.
picture
And so you're like, who
collection.
is this person?
Who is this like hippo person that's like in my phone?
Especially when you like people and want to stay in touch. It's important
Yeah.
to add a little bit of context there.
Well, that will be wrapping it up today. Some final questions for you as we wrap up. What are some of your hobbies? In case anyone is interested in having a conversation with you after maybe watching this video.
Oh, so I am a huge knitter. So if anybody loves knitting, please talk to me. I could talk about knitting all day. Socks are my favorite. I'm just branching out into sweaters. And I'm a big baker as well. So those are probably my top two hobbies.
Awesome. If you end up going to New York, I have a friend named Alexis who also makes like Instagram filters, but she also knits things, including like clothing for her dog.
What? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's so cool. Okay, I'm
Um,
absolutely gonna message you. I would love to follow her on Instagram if nothing else.
I'll send it to you after this call. All right, bye.
Bye.